Hello, my name is Elena Gonzales-Blanton. This video is for the Studies in Interpersonal Communications class, Human Services, Professor Mary Cooper. This video is part of the last assignment, the Interpersonal Communication Plan presentation. And describe my behavioral blend. So my behavioral blend is unique according to my traits. It's my traits are a combination of compassion and conscientiousness. I do have challenges with being assertive. I'm sometimes too assertive. I'm disorganized a lot of the time, but I possess a lot of empathy, so I always want to do the right thing, and I want to get the job done. Communication barriers. So France and Weichel and Peterson discuss an overuse of digital communication and fear of conflict as key barriers. I've experienced barriers with communication, with digital communication. Things get lost in translation. Text, emails. You can't judge someone's cadence, their tone, their body language through those types of things. So I tend to have barriers with that. I have been very guilty of misinterpreting a text or an email. Barrier 1, emotional filtering. As I was just saying, emotional filtering causes me to interpret others' messages through my feelings rather than objectively. So I have experienced this quite a bit with my husband. Barrier 2, avoidance of conflict. Avoidance of conflict prevents honest communication and growth. And I have experienced that with other people in my life, but I do not think that I avoid conflict so much. In fact, I'm a little too confrontational sometimes. I've learned that genuineness requires respectful self-disclosure and that constructive confrontation can strengthen relationships. So I think that it is a strength of mine that I am not afraid of conflict, but I must be mindful to do it with compassion and grace. Barrier 3, over-reliance on digital interaction. Again, Schultz and Badinsky's argument that technology can reduce emotional intimacy. I very much agree with that. I think that technology, especially nowadays, probably in the last 20 years or so, gets in the way of emotional intimacy. It diminishes emotional intimacy and relational depth. It replaces that special in-person connection that people are supposed to get as human beings. The authors of the Schultz and Basinski, they caution that an over-reliance on technology fosters what they call thin communication, marked by efficiency and convenience rather than genuine engagement. And this thinness contrasts with thick communication, which is personal, embodied, and morally attentive. Emotional intimacy, according to the authors, thrives when people engage with each other authentically and attentively, something that digital platforms cannot replace. Ultimately, they advocate for intentional, virtue-based communication, urging individuals to balance technological convenience with in-person, spiritually grounded relationships that nurture trust, empathy, and mutual presence. And I agree with all of that. Let's see. My goal statement, to become more empathic, to become a more empathic, assertive communicator that builds trust through active listening and authenticity. This goal matters to me personally and professionally because I know that it will help me in whatever job field I choose. Active listening is a core component of success because most conflicts arise out of miscommunication. And in my personal life with my husband and children, it's important that I am able to communicate with compassion and love with them. And so my 3 strategies are active listening, practicing warmth and genuineness, and reflection with feedback. And each of those will help me to reach my goal because they will keep me grounded with grace and always led by God. Let's see. So, reflection feedback. I plan to keep a journal. I do anyways. I've always kept a journal and monitor my communication with people, how I talk to people, try to think before I talk, respond versus react. Just do self-assessments, like read the text before I send it, read that email before I send it. Self-assessment and accountability will help me with implementing this. Also get feedback from my husband and children. My husband's usually really quick to tell me when I'm being curt. And in conclusion, I want to reiterate that empathy, warmth, and genuineness are the foundation of effective communication. And to quote Peterson, the greatest communication skill is not speaking, but truly listening. And APA reference, France and Weichel, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, 2020, Peterson 2022, Schultz and Basinski 2015, Carbonell 2008. And that is it. Thank you.